This song is called How to Use Guitar Scales.
Down.
You might have been practicing scales for a while, or your teacher might have been telling you, practice your scales, learn your scales, and you might be thinking, what on earth do I do with all these scales? Well, I'm going to be showing you 4 ways that you can actually apply the scales, and these are things that I do and you can too. And before we get started, let's gonna figure out what scale we're gonna be playing in. Well, I'm in the key of E major, so I'm gonna be using the E major scale. And you can play it in any position that you want. And this applies, the things that we're going to be covering applies to all scales, but we just happen to be using the E major scale. Okay, first thing we need to know is that playing a scale is not just an exercise, it's not just a technical thing, it's not just reading a tab and going. Alright, it's not just about knowing where to place your fingers and where to pluck, which string to pluck. No, it's about understanding the scale musically and knowing where the pitches are and how the pitches are related to one another. And in order to do that, you need to be able to sing it in solfege. Now, I did a whole video on solfege over here that you should check out, but in a nutshell, solfege refers to singing out the notes within a scale by using certain syllables. So, for example, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Now when I say sing, I don't mean you need to sing like a professional singer. No, okay, you don't need to sing like that. All I want you to do is to just match the pitch with your voice and sing the syllables. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And that way, because we have syllables for respective scale degrees, we know exactly where within the scale a certain note is. So if we are saying this note, so, we know that it is note number 5. Or if we are playing this note, mi, it's note number 3. Mi, fa, so, 3, 4, 5. Sol, la, ti, 5, 6, 7. Do, so, fa, mi, 1, 5, 4, 3. Alright, so we know exactly where within the scale we are. And that allows us to do our first thing with our scale, which is to figure out the melody of a song that you already know or that you've heard. So let's say a simple song like Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Alright, and using the scale and using solfege, we're able to figure out what the melody is and what the exact precise scale degrees are. So for example, it goes so, do, mi, re, do, la, so, do, mi, re, do, re, so. And because we have the knowledge of the scale, we are able to figure out this melody. And you can do this for any melody. That's one thing you can do. Second thing you can do, after you've started figuring out melodies that other people have created, you can start to use the scales to create your own melodies. If we're in the key of E major, just noodle around on the scale degrees. So if I'm just gonna compose something on the spot right now, do, do, mi, fa, mi, so. See, I just composed this melody. So, do, mi, fa, mi, so, do, mi, fa, mi, so. Just using scale degrees, I'm able to make a melody. Alright, may not be a great melody, but this is where most songs start out. Simple melodies, and then they start to fine-tune and refine them. And that's the second thing you can use scales for, because if you just pick the scales, the notes within the scale to compose your melody, it's going to be sounding pretty alright. And then after that, you can start adding in all these other things to make it more interesting and complicated and original. Alright, now the third thing that you can do with scales is to improvise. If we are in the key of E major, then you just improvise using our E major scale. And I covered improvisation quite a bit with this video here, so I recommend you check it out if you're interested to improvise further. But if I'm just playing an E major progression, like a E to a B major, to a C sharp minor, to an A major, and then I just improvise with the scale. All in the E major scale, yeah? And that's the easiest way to start improvising, using just the scale in the key that you're in. Alright, fourth thing you can do with scales, and this is probably the one that is the most important to get started and to really digest and to put it into your musical practice routine, and that is to use scales to practice exercises. Yes, that's right. Boring exercises that can be actually quite fun. So what I do is, if I have an E major scale, right, practice slowly using the scale. You can start practicing different rhythms like triplets. Alright, you can practice really fast runs. You can jump around the scale. Alright, so use the scale as a tool to practice whatever you want to practice. Right? It can be simple things like rhythm, melody. You can even practice more musical things like dynamics. Right? You can play loud on one note and soft on one note. Alright, you can practice phrasing. Alright, see how I have groups of notes phrased together to make a nice sentence. Okay, so that's 4 things you can do with your scales. Figuring out melodies, composing, improvising, and using them to make practice exercises. Practice what you want to work on. And I hope that has been useful for you, so that you finally know what you can actually do with these scales. There's of course a lot more, so I'm going to be making new videos every single week to teach you how to become a better musician. So help me to help you by subscribing to my channel. It really encourages me a lot. And until next time, I will see you again.